Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Real Birding Podcast, the show where we crack open the world of birding and talk about our own birding adventures. I'm Will Keller, coming to you from Charlotte, North Carolina.
And I'm Caleb Putnam in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Caleb, good morning. We're recording in the morning, which is pretty rare for us. I don't know that we've done this before, but it's good. Good way to start the day. Gonna catch up on some birds. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, man, I sure did. I hope you did as well. We had family in, and we're digging out from a big blizzard right now. So yeah, it's haven't been outside yet, but it's looking pretty ugly out there. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And it finally got cold down here in Charlotte as well. So we had to turn on the heating for the first time this year. But we are going to do something pretty new today. It's sort of a variation on random birds or something like that, but we're going to turn it into a bit of a game. So we are going to use the eBird Explore feature, and then you can press a button that says "Surprise Me." Which if you've been on the internet for the last 20 years, just takes you to a random page. And in this case, it takes you to a random bird. So we are going to see how many of those random birds we have each seen, and we're going to explore that feature as well and just see what kind of cool birds will pop up, because I'm sure we'll both learn a ton if we just check out one of the 10,000 odd species. But first, let's crack into our bird quiz. Last week we played for you the song of a spotted towhee, and shock and surprise, nobody got that correct, which I'm not actually that surprised. They kind of sound weird. Somebody threw out yellow-breasted chat, which is not a terrible guess considering chats can make that sort of burry but also melodic call. So did you know that one, Caleb?
I have to admit that I wasn't sure, and I actually, my knee-jerk reaction on that one was like maybe a Buick's wren, like a short version of Buick's wren, but I did not have high confidence in it. So that's, it's interesting how eastern towhee and spotted towhee are such similar birds that they used to be the same species, and they don't sound anything alike. They have a different call note. That whiny of the western spotted birds is absent in eastern, and then the song is just totally different and weird. And drink your tea in the eastern ones, and then kind of just that like a dry trill in the western ones. So yeah, it's very interesting.
Right. Yeah. So if you didn't get that correct and you guessed, keep the guesses coming, because that was a tough one. Stumped even our friend Caleb. This week, we are going to play for you the song or call of a North American bird, and you're going to guess what that bird is for a chance at a shout out at the beginning of next week's episode. Let's do it. All right, do you know what makes that squeaky toy sound? If you think you do, drop it in the comments. Otherwise, let's do some random birds. Surprise me. Kel, how we doing?
I'm good. I'm not fully awake yet. I haven't had my morning coffee. How about yourself?
I'm ahead of you on the coffee front. I'm going to be slurping my way through this throughout the episode, if that's all right.
There we go. Are you feeling awake?
I'm feeling great. Yep. I got up early to watch Manchester United, my favorite soccer team, play. So we won. So I'm starting the day off on a high note. So that's hope nobody was TiVoing that for later.
That's more than I can say for the Detroit Lions and the Wolverines this weekend. Not a good week in Michigan football.
Not a good week at all. But every week is a good week in the world of birding, especially with this awesome eBird Explore page. I've been having fun this week, even though the weather's been kind of bad for birding. But should we get into this? I'm gonna hit surprise me, and I'm gonna just keep score of who's seen what. Let's see here. We'll start with Upchur's warbler. Are you familiar with this species at all? Let's take a look at the range map.
This is gonna be a really fun exercise. Let me just take a step back for a second here. I have heard of this bird, and I think I might have seen it in Israel. But do you have this problem, Will, when you've done a one-off trip to some crazy destination, and you might remember what the bird looked like when you saw it, but you tend to forget a lot of the names of the things you've seen? And
I totally have this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm at on this one. I think I didn't see this one, but that I could have when I was in Israel in March of 2018. But I'm gonna have to look this up, dude.
Yeah, pull it up. Let's see.
I did not get it. That's what I thought. But
all right,
if you look at the range map, you can see that it is definitely there, at least at certain times of the year. Yeah. Do you know anything about this particular species?
I've never even heard of it. I assume it's one of those old world wood warblers, although I'm not positive.
Yes, it looks like it's one of the, not the Philoscopus, Yeah, it's in the Hippolace genus. I think like things like garden warbler, and I mean, as a lot of those old world ones are, they're just kind of little brown jobs, little gray jobs, very plain looking, and similar to olivaceous warbler as well, which I did get in Israel. But no, I did not
Okay.
get this, and yeah, it looks like it's Middle East and a little bit of Central Asia.
Yeah. Yep. And sub-Saharan Africa as well. Well, very cool. Cool way to start it off. Let's keep it running. We got a lot of birds to go through. Oh wow, slender-billed white-eye. I wonder if this was one of those species that got split out from Japanese white-eye a few years ago now. Wow, Norfolk Island. Look how restricted this thing is. I can tell you right now, I have not seen this species. I don't think you have either.
Definitely not. Most definitely not. That's close to New Caledonia, where the Kagu is, huh?
Look how isolated this island is. Yeah, New Caledonia to the north, and then Australia and New Zealand is squarely between those. Have you ever seen a white-eye in the wild?
Yeah, escaped ones, or just from like the populations in like Los Angeles, and I saw them in Thailand in the wild. Definitely, some of the Thai species were there. I just can't remember which ones it was.
Yeah, I've seen them in Hawaii, but yeah, it's not the kind of thing you get terribly excited about when it's outside of its native range, at least for me.
Well, they're cool. They're weird. They're unique. They're different. But kind of all of the species of them are kind of run into the same bird. It seems like, right? I've never noticed
Mhm.
anything weird about any of them when I got on them. Like, yeah, this little variations on the same thing. I don't know. It's not like the
Totally.
our warblers where they all have like unique color patterns and something super interesting to look at.
Yeah, that's right. Even though they are pretty cool in themselves. What about Swainson's flycatcher? I can't say I have even heard of a Swainson's flycatcher, even though we might have had a chance in Colombia while we were there. Look at that.
I think I did get this one. Let me check. No, my life list is saying I didn't get it. Huh. Interesting. I've certainly
Bird.
been in the areas where they are in Ecuador
It's
and
funny.
possibly in Colombia too. I don't remember.
Yeah, and it's a huge genus, Myarchus. It seems like there's a new Myarchus at every elevation and every habitat type down in the southern hemisphere in the neotropics. But yeah, same genus as great crested flycatcher and ash-throated flycatcher, and you can tell they look quite similar.
Oh yeah, it looks almost identical. And a lot of the time these are really hard to identify, or they just have like a little micro habitat difference. Or I don't know, you go to a new geography and there's a new one there. It's like maybe there's only one species.
Right.
But apparently I have not seen this one. We're striking out, man. This is gonna be a big goose egg episode.
I know. I was doing this a few days ago, and I actually got through not very many birds before I got to one that I had seen before. But here's another weirdo: parrot-billed seed eater. Look at that bill. It is in fact parrot-billed, but otherwise it looks a lot like variable seed eater. A lot of stuff that you can see in the American tropics.
Well, I'm on the scoreboard, buddy. I
All
have
right, look at
seen
that.
parrot-billed seed eater, and it was on 3rd April 2022 in Loja province, Ecuador.
That makes sense. Look at this range map. Another cool sort of endemic. It looks like coastal, maybe lowland, Peru and Ecuador. It's a pretty restricted bird. That's fun.
I'm going to show you my photos now, actually. I
Let's
think
see it.
this was the first trip down there, not the more recent one. And I remember this bird. I do remember this, and I remember there was like a little stream crossing and a dirt road, and it was in kind of a scrubby open field area. But look at the honking beak on that thing, dude.
It's wild. You can imagine that they're cracking open big seeds or fruit or something with that thing because yeah, it looks powerful.
Oh man, that's so cool. I actually thought when it came up on the screen, I thought I had seen it, but I was not positive. So at least my memory was correct this time.
All right, nice.
1-0, boy. You're going down.
All right, I'm out of luck for this one. The only starling that I have is the Eurasian starling, pale winged starling. Have you ever seen this thing?
Definitely not this one, but I have seen a few species other than European. Because in Israel we got the Tristrums. In Thailand I got Siamese pied starling, and in Spain just a couple months ago I got spotless starling,
Hmm.
and that's it. Those are the only ones I've seen. So yeah, definitely. And I've not been to Africa yet, obviously. So that presents a bit of a challenge with this one. Maybe
Totally.
next. I'm hoping to get down there to South Africa as soon as possible. So probably add that one hopefully in the next year or two.
Yeah. And it's funny, you wouldn't know this as an American birder necessarily, but this is a huge group of birds, the starlings. And we only obviously have one starling in the New World, and it's introduced, unfortunately, because of a sort of strange man decided to release every single bird species that was mentioned in Shakespeare books. So those got released into New York City back in the I think the late 1800s, and now they've taken over, which is unfortunate, but it's the way it goes. Although, did you know that thrashers are sort of in the starling family, like maybe a very basal group of the starling family?
No, I did not know that. That's interesting.
Yep, mockingbirds, and I think waxwings might be sort of close to that as well. Yeah, little
That
tidbit
sounds
there.
right. That sounds right. And my little statement about starlings is we, at least in the Americas, we kind of poo-poo them just because we get so sick of the invasive nature of Europeans. But they're amazing birds, right? And sometimes it takes getting into the natal range of and seeing some of the other like pink ones or the superb starling in Africa where you get a
Yeah,
newfound appreciation for them. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing some of those other ones.
totally. Next bird, Western bluebill. Wow, look at this
Ooh,
thing. Just gorgeous. Let's look at the range map.
stunning.
I obviously have not seen this bird. Yep, looks like a Central African or
Africa.
Western African. Yep, bluebill. That's kind of a new taxa for me. I don't think I even knew
You know,
about this thing.
no, I will admit ignorance. I mean, I've probably read through have you seen that book, the Lynx Editions Handbook of Birds of the World, and it's the first book that's ever had all the species of birds in the world in one book.
Yeah, I've seen your copy.
Ah, that's right. So I've leafed through that. I've probably seen these in that book, but until you've actually been there and can start to memorize the species and groups, yeah, it's easy to forget. But what do you think about like it almost looks like convergent evolution with the silver beak tanager of South America or crimson
Ah.
rumped. You know those ones? Didn't we see that in Colombia when you were with us?
Yeah, yeah, totally.
I'm sure it's not related taxonomically, but and maybe it's just random too. I don't know.
Yeah. Next bird. Wow, no photos available. Red-throated lorikeet. I'm gonna guess this thing is very, very rare. Look at that. 7 reports on eBird. They're probably hidden, but I'm gonna guess they're from somewhere in Australia. Do you know about this species?
I do not know about this species. I can tell you that there's a bunch of lorikeets in Australia, and I saw many of them. I saw rainbow, red collared, scaly breasted, purple crowned, and musk. But I definitely didn't see this one. So this must have a unique conservation history, eh?
Yes, it says these birds have been found on the islands of Viti Levu, Vanua Levu, and Tevuni and Ovalau. So I have no idea where these are. Some of that sounds sort of Polynesian.
Yes, definitely a South Pacific island. There are pins on the islands, dude. There's pins on Fiji, so it can't be hidden from everywhere.
Oh yeah, sure enough. I didn't even know that there were like or native lorikeets to Fiji and the Pacific Islands like that. I thought they were mostly limited to Australasia.
I'm learning as we go here. Well, this is fascinating, and it looks like the reports in eBird are on Fiji and whatever the island to the northeast side of Fiji is, and that's the world distribution for this species. It is critically endangered. Used to be common in 1875, but is otherwise has always been rare. And flocks of up to 6 birds until 1993, with limited sightings in 2002. But surveys on the Ovalau, Taveuni, and Vanua Levu failed to find any birds in 2003. So the total
It's not
population
good.
may be lower than 50 birds, possibly due to the predation by black rat. Boy, wow. Crazy, dude.
It's really interesting. It seems like the parakeets and the lorikeets and a lot of stuff in the parrot family, they seem quite sensitive to human inhabitants. Of course, famously, North America lost the Carolina parakeet. The Puerto Rican parrot is quite endangered, and we saw it in Colombia. There's some insane range restricted species there as well that are really low in numbers. Kind of a sad story, but I hope they can make a comeback.
Well, it sounds like just getting a handle on how many of them are there is step number one, and then working on maybe a breeding program or get some of them in captivity and bring the numbers back up or figure out what's exactly limiting them from reproducing. But I just
Right.
learned something new. How about I assume you did as well.
Oh yeah, I had not definitely not heard of that species. Should we keep moving with ashy-headed goose?
Funny you bring this one up, Will. I have not seen it. However, we are I'm becoming aware of it due to some of my professional work, which is starting to move into southern South America. So I'm aware of this one, but I have definitely not seen it. I have not been down there. Look at the beak on this thing too. Like it, and
Oh
there's
yeah.
another species down there, ruddy-breasted goose, which it's just so good. It almost looks like a dinosaur in the head or something, and the beak is like just oddly tiny, and it's got a color pattern that's nothing like anything else I've ever seen on a waterfowl. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it's got something going on genetically than the other geese and ducks and swans that we're used to seeing. That bill shape is bizarre. You almost wonder if it's more closely related to like a whistling duck or something with that pattern in the wing. Check that out.
Yeah, or like Egyptian goose or something, a
Hmm.
ruddy shell duck. Yeah, there's a whole variety of them. Pull up ruddy-headed goose. I said ruddy-breasted. I meant ruddy-headed.
Ruddy-headed goose.
Yeah, have a look at this.
Oh yeah, sure enough.
So this one is extremely similar to the last one and occurs in the same geography, but is apparently much rarer. So pretty bizarre, man. It doesn't to
Yeah,
me look at it and you're like, that's not from the Americas. We don't have stuff that looks like that, but it totally is.
totally. All right, so quick recap. We have gone through, I think, 7 or 8 rounds. I think 8 rounds, and the score is 1-0. You are winning. I got to get on the scoreboard here, although neither of us are putting in a great showing. Statistically, I've got about 1,300 birds on my life list, and you've got what, 2,500?
2,500. Yep.
I feel like we should be able to start racking some of these up here. So let's keep moving.
Well, you would think
All
if I've got 2,500, Will, that's 1 out of 4 birds in the world. I should be getting about 1 out of every 4 of these, right?
right. Mm-hmm. We've hardly even had a North American species yet. So,
I haven't had one yet. Not one. Yeah.
have you seen a gray-headed bush shrike? I'm going to go ahead and guess no, since I know you have not been to Africa.
Sounds like Africa. And so definitely not.
You can totally tell what they're going for with I'm not sure if it's actually related to a shrike, but it's definitely got that shrike bill. Do you know if bush shrikes are technically in the shrike family?
I don't. Can you add that to the screen too? I want to give everybody an idea what this one looks like. I do have the Shrikes of the World book, the Helm Guide, and there's chagras and all these, just weird groups and names that look different. And I don't actually know if this one's in there or not. But I have a lot of confusion about what's going on with quote unquote shrikes in Africa because I think it's very much more diverse and complicated than what we have here, which is what
Absolutely.
we have like 2 species in North America basically.
It's a common name, and the nomenclature shrike is very common because in South America we have pepper shrikes and ant shrikes and stuff like that. But I think those are all in the antbird family. But yeah, it's just kind of the name, the shape of this bill screams shrike with that tooth, that sharp tooth at the end, which obviously they typically use to catch and kill live prey. May that be other birds, small mammals, or large insects. So pretty cool group of birds.
Yeah, I'd like to get an explanation from an avian taxonomist once and for all about is shrike more of like a behavioral explanation or a lifestyle, it's not actually strictly taxonomic. That would be interesting to hear.
But dude, I'm getting on the scoreboard here, and I think you are too with Tropical Screech Owl. We got these in Colombia.
Indeed. Indeed we did. And I got them in some other place as well. Let me check here. Yes, I've gotten it at Ecuador down in the Amazon, and then I got it at Montezuma with you. I've had it.
Mm-hmm.
I've had it twice.
So here's a funny story about this bird. I remember it was towards the end of our trip, and we were staying at that Montezuma Lodge, which was a fantastic place to bird. Everybody should go if they can. But I needed the species for life. You did not need it. I think Rhoda did not need it, but Chase and Rick did need it. So we were out looking for owls. We were just doing doot 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 doot, trying to call any in. I eventually gave up because we didn't get anything. I got in my bed, and Chase and Rick stayed out. And then all of a sudden, I hear from right outside the window a very loud tropical screech owl call. And I'm like, these guys are playing tape right outside my window, these little pranksters. So I got out and I snuck along the side of the house to go and try and startle them because they were still playing the tape. And as soon as I popped out to startle them, the owl flushed out from a tree just above my head and flew over and landed in a bush. And I was like, wait, where's Chase and Rick? This is a real bird. This is a real owl. And it was a lifer for me. So I was like, no way. And they had apparently walked like a quarter mile away to try to get the bird somewhere else. So I was like, we didn't really have internet service there, so I was trying to call them quietly, like loud enough that they could hear, but quiet enough so that the owl wouldn't get scared away. And eventually, they came back on their own accord, and we did get the bird. So that's my story with this species. It's a pretty cool one.
It's cool that the story involves both of us. Check out the checklist I put up there. It's basically a truncated version of the story you just told. I just written right into it. And I do remember this.
Funny.
I remember hearing it from inside the place because it kind of had that open air ceiling, and wondering, like, is this tape or is this for real? And then it ended up being for real. And the moths too. Remember how much moth action there was on the lights out there?
Oh yeah, it was buggy. Just the diversity in general down there is astounding. I think we got 2 or 3 species of pygmy owl on that trip as well. But
yeah, I think that's right. Bird. Yeah, I tend to on most of those tropical trips. There's a lot of different. You switch elevations in the mountains, and you get a different species of screech owl. It's pretty cool.
Totally. Whoa, Samoan flycatcher. Look at this thing. It's like a barn swallow, but not.
That's amazing. I definitely have not seen this because I've not been on the islands. Although I will say it looks similar to certain things that I have seen. Paperbark flycatcher, I want to say. And then what's the other one called? There was in Australia. It's got to be the same genus or possibly be the same genus.
Paperbark flycatcher. Let's
check.
That's
the same genus?
It
is, right? Miagra. Yeah, because it has like a satiny look to it, and the face, the shape and proportions of the bird are quite similar. There was 2 of these species that I saw in Australia. And
I just want to point out, this one almost looks like a tree swallow in plumage.
Yeah, and I won't claim like any specific or special knowledge about them. I just remember thinking they're really cool looking. They have like a real satiny look to their back, and yeah, it was just like in Darwin, Australia.
Moving on. Here we go. Getting back on the board. I don't know that I'm going to catch back up to you, dude, because you're already beating me, and there's not very many species I have that you don't have. But Henslow's sparrow. I recently credited this as being my favorite sparrow in North America. What a cool bird.
Oh, you got to love them, man. It's, some birds you love them because of how they look and because of the flashiness and so on. But then there's other ones that you love because finding them is hard and because of the rarity of it. And this is definitely one of them. Not a proper rarity, but they're really hard to find. And you gotta have the right field and the right time of year. And you got to also be there on the night when they're singing or on the day when they're singing. And that can be unpredictable as well. So this bird is always sexy. It's always a treat to get them.
It's another one that's kind of the rare near endemic to Eastern North America. There's not a ton of endemism in North America, but this is one that nearly endemic to the United States, if not for the sort of Ontario area.
Oh yeah. And they don't have many of them there, I don't think. Pretty limited.
Yeah.
Great bird.
Plain green bull. This is another group of birds. There's just, I don't think I have any of them except for the non-native ones that we have in the US.
I don't have it. I do not have this one. Where is it? Oh, it's Africa. There you go.
Yep, Central Africa. Cool group of birds, but yeah, very, very, very foreign to what we're used to.
Bush tit, dude. We're on North America representing again here. We're finally getting on the board a little bit.
Absolutely. What a weird bird this is. Do you know anything about the taxonomy of these? They're kind of unlike anything else we've got in North America.
No, I can't say I do. I need to keep up a little bit more and have Andy Jones give us an update. He's usually my go-to for information on this stuff, but obviously it's related to the tits and chickadees, but I think it's some kind of strange, offshoot group. Is it closely related with wren tit, do you think?
Well, we're looking at Eurasian blackcap and sooty tit, and those 2 species do not appear to be very closely related. Sooty tit looks like a bush tit. Eurasian blackcap does not look like a bush tit, so I'm not sure what's going on with these.
Well, that's Sylviidae, whereas bush tit is Agithalidae, and it looks like whatever that next tit in line was as well. So at least maybe it's in the same family as the standard tits, chickadees. But what a great little bird too. I love these guys. They're so tiny and hyperactive, and then their call is that weird little like it's like a super high pitched and thin, and you'll get like a roving group of them will come in and then they're gone within and they're gone within like 20 seconds. You know what I mean?
Yep. They almost come across as a little pugnacious. Like they're always coming up to check people out, and then they're gone right away. They kind of seem like the birds that might be following like cats or foxes around. You know how you get that with chickadees and whatnot. Yeah, great bird.
When I lived in Montana, we were always doing these contests to figure out what's the next species that's going to show up new for Montana. And you do your top 20, and then a few of them have come true. Things like slaty-back gull and great blackback gull had not been found, but they are. Anyway, bush tit is not migratory, so it seems like a low-level candidate. But look at this. Look how close they are to the Montana border right here in Idaho. And they do move a bit. I think it's entirely possible that if somebody were checking carefully around Bannock and Dillon and Red Rock down here, at some point they're going to get them.
Sure feels like it. Yeah, it's always cool when those non-migratory species start moving their range, because that's the only way you can get them. You don't really get them as vagrants. But yeah, that's so fun. That'll be us with Carolina chickadee in Michigan any day now.
Perhaps we have a record. We have a 1890 something record, a specimen, but there's been nothing since. And now with that hybrid swarm pushing into northern Indiana, almost into Michigan, I think it's going to be really difficult without nuclear DNA to nail down that species in Michigan. It's going to be really tough.
Okay. Yeah.
Perhaps they'll happen one of these days.
All right, Caleb, I'm going to propose we do 2 more birds and then wrap it up. That work for you?
That works. I'm going to beat you either way, though.
We'll see. Oh, not at this rate.
Actually, will.
Act flower pecker. Do you have this bird? No, you don't.
Let's see. No, definitely not. I've not been to the Philippines. That is a much more aggressive trip and fairly expensive, I think, too. Just trying to get down there and get the right tour guide. I have friends who've been there. The place is full. Every island has just endemics that are found nowhere on the world, or most of the islands do, the big ones anyway. And a lot of the smaller ones do too. And that's the challenge, right? So like if you wanted to get all the stuff in the Philippines, I think it would take years, and you'd have to ferry boats and such to like every little offshoot island to get all of them. So I think it's really difficult. It'd be interesting to see if Peter Kastner has been able to get to like all those islands, or maybe the Philippines would be one area where there's the most species remaining for him to get in one area. There's got to be a bunch of them that he doesn't have from there. Has to be.
All right, for our last bird, maybe we'll do one bonus bird after this, but Nubian nightjar. I can tell you right now, I don't have this species. Look at that distribution.
This one was a possibility in Israel. I actually remember this. Can you zoom in on Israel for me?
Yeah. Wow, right down by the Jordan River. That makes sense. That's probably where all the habitat is.
I think this is the one that folks would go to the Dead Sea. Yeah, that dark purple square right there. They would go there, and they had one spot. But even if you went there, there was a lot of luck involved. You had to go at night, and you kind of either had to flush it or get lucky and hear one sing. But if memory serves, this is one of the species we were not able to put search effort into during our trip. It's just the logistics of it didn't work out. In any event, I definitely did not get the bird.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't look like you were missing out on. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but it looks like a nightjar. It's another cool bird that they seem to be able to persist just about anywhere on Earth, where there's bugs for them to catch. Yeah,
they're a weird group, and they live in open stuff. They live in closed forest. They for how kind of dumpy and weak, and I don't know, they always seemed a little fragile to me. They're a really successful group, man. I mean, they're doing great all over the world,
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of seen, once you've seen one, you've kind of seen them all. I do love them.
Yeah, they're great. All right, let's do one more bird here. We got 14 that we've gone through. Let's round it out at 15, and let's make it a good one. Let's see if one of us has this species. Oh boy, not this one. Eke out
the victory on me.
I was hoping to tie it up, but I'm not going to with a New Guinean endemic bird. Check this thing out. Pinon's Imperial Pigeon. Wow, what a weirdo.
Incredible. That's got to be closely related to Imperial Pigeon, right? Or crowned Imperial Pigeon, is it?
Oh, looks like there's a lot of Imperial Pigeons. Gray-headed, spotted.
What's the one I'm thinking of, dude? Nicobar? No, that's not it either. Is it crested pigeon? Yeah, dude. The only frame of reference I have for this thing is the crowned pigeon here, which I have seen in captivity, but obviously I've not been where they're around. But I mean, just phenomenally striking birds and bizarre, huge. Like, I mean, these things are like almost turkey sized, right? Like the size of a small turkey.
Yeah, it's almost reminiscent of the dodo, which is another species in the pigeon family that is now extinct. But yeah, I've heard people say that pigeons are among the oldest groups of birds. They speciated a long, long time ago while the dinosaurs were still walking around. So a lot of them have been left unchanged over the millennia and over the eons. But a lot of them have speciated in very striking ways, and obviously this group is one of those that's quite different from many other pigeons.
It's just nutty what happens on islands. You know, evolution just takes such side roads and goes crazy. And New Guinea is probably like the epitome of this, which is where this one's from. Is it where the bird that you pulled up is from or not?
It is, yeah. I can't even remember the name of that one now, but guarantee neither of us had it. But it was across the entire island.
Wow. Are you going to go to New Guinea?
Gosh, at some point, is it safe?
I've heard that parts of the island are more dangerous than others, and like you don't want to go as a single woman. You got to have like the right guides. But you know, people go. I have friends in Ann Arbor that just went.
Wow. I mean,
But it's an
I would
aggressive
love
trip,
to.
I think, too. I would love to
Yeah,
too, dude. It's just super expensive, and getting to all of the places of the island, like this is like some. It's kind of like going back in time 100 years. You know, from what I've heard, it's very rugged, and it's a different kind of universe than what we're dealing with in most of the West here.
yeah. I mean, just to have a chance at some of the just most bizarre bird life. I mean, if you had to pick one island or one region of the world where someone said, "What's the place where the birds just look the craziest or the craziest history, the craziest biology?" I think it's got to be Papua and that whole island chain because you got all the birds of paradise. You got those crazy looking pigeons. It's just it's a when we say it's a different world. I mean, it's really a different world over there.
Yeah, and I think it goes for the groups other than birds too. I think they've got some crazy mammals and all the rest. So yeah, that's definitely on my bucket list to find a way to get there at some point. Definitely got to save up for that one though.
All right, Caleb. Well, after 15 rounds, you have taken the cake with 4 points to my 3. That's fun, dude. We definitely have to keep this going. This will be a good recurring segment.
Yeah, that was fun, man. It would be interesting too if we could limit the random bird generator to like just the US or just South America or something too. But ultimately this game is a function of how widely you've traveled and how long you've been alive. And I've got you in both of those. So you're going to be hard pressed to beat me for the time being, I think.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll keep it going. And hey, if you guys liked this episode, maybe you can play along and see how many of the species that you've seen, and let us know if there's any variation on this game that you think we should try out. Otherwise, Caleb, do you think we did it?
I think we did it. And I would love, building off of what you just said, Will, I would love to hear from the listeners to see if any of them have beaten us, because plenty of people have traveled a lot more than we have. And I'm sure somebody out there would beat us if they tallied up their list. So put them in the comments. Let's hear it.
Absolutely. All right. As always, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Give us a rating on Spotify if you can. And otherwise, bird on and happy holidays.
Bird on, everybody. See you next week.